Okay, so to get these different combinations, one way that we did them was we just used the combination formula. Okay, so the combination formula, let's see, I'll do it for this, is going to be 7 factorial over 2 factorial, and then 7 minus 2 factorial, which is 5 factorial. And then we simplify that. So this 7 is 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So this 5 factorial is going to cancel out this 7 factorial, and all I'm going to be left with on the top of that factorial is just 7 times 6, because the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 canceled with this 5 factorial. Now I still have 2 factorial on the bottom. I can do some more reducing, 2 into 2, 2 into 6. So I get 21. Okay, the other way of getting these is you go to the 7th row of Pascal's triangle. So remember, the first row, this is row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see what these coefficients are. This one's going to be 1, 7, 21, and then these are the remaining coefficients. Okay, on your calculator, if you wanted to do 7, choose 2, you go to Math, press the Math key, and then you use the arrows and you go over to where it says Probability. And then when you hit Probability, you're going to see the choice. I think it's the 4th choice. It'll say NCR. And you choose that, and then you put in the 7 and the 2, and you get 21. Okay. All right. So we're going to use just Pascal's triangle right now, so we can just fill in these values. Okay. So we're going to have a 1, a 7, a 21, a 35, 35, and then it goes back down. Okay, so this is 1. All right. Now, 1 to the 7th is just 1, and then I to the 0 is 1. So this entire term just simplifies to 1. Plus, okay, 7 choose 1 is 7. 1 to the 6 is 1, and I to the 1st is just I. So that's 7I. That's this second term. Okay, my third term, 7 choose 2. We said that was 21. 1 to the 5th, I'm just multiplying it by 1 so I don't write it. And now I squared, guys, remember, is negative 1. So that's negative 1 times 21, okay, which is going to turn it into negative 21. So I'm going to write minus 21 plus, okay, 7 choose 3 is 35. 1 to the 4th, just 1. I to the 3rd is negative I. So this term is also going to turn negative. So I'm going to rewrite it as 35I and a negative, a minus. Okay, plus 7 choose 4 is also 35. 1 to the 3rd is 1. I to the 4th is 1. So that's just 35. Okay, now we start going back down. That's 21. 1 squared, 1. And I to the 5th. So I to the 4th takes me back to the beginning. I to the 4th is also 1. So I to the 5th is the same as I to the 1st. So I to the fifth is equal to I plus, this is going to be 7, 1 to the first, I to the sixth, 1. So if I count over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the same as I squared, or -1. So that's going to change this 7 into a -7 plus 7 choose 7 is 1 times 1 to the 0, which is 1, times I to the 7th, and I to the 7th would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would be the same as -I. So this would be 1 times -I, which is just going to be -I. All right, now I'm going to do my like terms. So I've got a 1 minus 21, that's -20, plus 35, that's 15, minus 7, that's 8. So those all are going to create 8. And now my other like terms, 7i minus 35i. So that's going to be -28i plus 21, -7i minus I is -8i. There's my solution. All right, so I wrote everything out. I put in my coefficients, I put in my combinations, and then what I started doing is evaluating these. Okay, so 5 choose 0, 1, 5 choose 1, 5, 5 choose 2, 10, 5 choose 3, 10, 5 choose 4, 5, 5 choose 5, 1. Okay, then I did the i's. I to the 0 is 1. Okay, I to the first, I to the second, -1. I to the third, -I to the fourth, 1, and I to the fifth, I. Okay, now what you have are these radicals. A couple of ways we can take a look at the radicals. So if I wanted to figure out what is √2 to the fifth, okay, let's see, I'll just do it right over here. Okay, so √2 to the fifth would be 5 √2's. That's √2 to the fifth. All right, so for every pair, that turns into a 2. This turns into 2, and then I'm left with 1 √2. So I have 2 times 2, 4 √2. So this guy right here, it's going to turn into 4 √2. Now I multiply those 3 out, and I get just 4 √2. All right, now √2 to the fourth, well, that would be 4 of these. Each 2 turned into a 2. So that's just 2 times 2, or 4. Okay, so those three terms together, that's going to be 20i. Okay, now root 2 to the third. Okay, those two become 2, and then I have a leftover root 2, so that's 2 root 2. Now I have to multiply these three. So 10 times 2, 20, times negative 1, negative 20, root 2. It's supposed to be a 2. Right? Our next one, root 2 squared. Well, that's just 2. So here I'm going to have 10 times 2 times negative I. So that's going to be negative 20i. All right. And now here I've got 5 times, that's going to be root 2 times 1, 5 root 2. And then my last term is going to be 1. Root 2 to the 0 is 1, and then that's I. Now I'm going to go through and add up any like terms. So 4 root 2 minus 20 root 2, that's negative 16 root 2, plus 5 root 2 is negative 11 root 2. And now my other ones, 20i minus 20i is 0, plus I plus I. All right, so this one gives you the binomial m squared minus 2 to the 8th. And it's asking us to, first, how many terms would there be in this expansion? Well, there's always one more than that. So there's going to be 9 terms. And then it says write out the expansion of the first 5. Okay, so I wrote out my first 5 terms. I have my combinations. Okay, you could have also got those numbers from the 8th row of the triangle here. So my first 5 numbers are 1, 8, 28, 56, 70. So 1. Now m squared to the 8th. We multiply those two and we end up with m to the 16th. Negative 2 to the 0 is 1. So there's my first term, which is just m16 plus, okay, 8 choose 1 is 8. This is going to be m to the 14th times negative 2. So that's going to be negative 16m 14. All right. Now we got plus, okay, 8 choose 2. 8 choose 2 is going to be 28. M12, negative 2 squared, 4. So I've got 28 times 4. That's 112. M12. Okay. All right. 8 choose 3. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, that's 56. So this here is going to be 56, M 10, negative 2 cubed, negative 8. So then I got 56 times negative 8, which is going to make it a negative. Okay, so that's 48. 448. Okay, 8 choose 4 was 70. Okay. M to the 8th, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, 16. Yeah, got 70 times 16. Okay, so the first 5 terms. All right, so for number 8, it's asking you which of the terms are incorrect. Select all that apply. So you might be saying more than one of these. All right, so I wrote out, there's exponent 6, so there's 7 terms. Wrote out the coefficients and then the terms with their appropriate exponents. And now I'm just going to go through and evaluate these and compare them to the terms as I go. All right, so my first one is 6 choose 0, which is 1. 1 times negative 5 to the 0, which is also 1, so that's just 1. So that's x now to the 2 times 6, 12. All right, so that checks out. All right, our next term, we have 6 choose 1, which is 6. 2, or x to the 10th, and then negative 5 to the 0. So I have 6 times, or negative 5 to the 1. 6 times negative 5, that would be minus 30, x to the 10th, and that guy checks out. Okay, our next one is 6 choose 2, all right, which is 15. That would then be x to the 8th, and that would be positive 25. Okay, so I am going to multiply those. Let's see, 25 times 15. 357, x to the 8th, and that should be a positive. Okay, so that's the first mistake that we found. And this should be positive 375 x to the 8th. All right. Our next one will be 6 choose 3, which I believe is 20. Let's see. Or 20, yeah. 6 choose 3 is 20. Okay, so we're going to have 20 x 6, and then negative 5 cubed is negative 125. So 20 times negative 125, that's 2,500 negative x to the 6th. So that guy checks out. All right, 6 choose 4, that's 15 x to the 4th, and negative 5 to the 4th is positive 625. So 15 times 625, that's 9,375 x to the 4th, and that is going to be plus. Okay, so there's another mistake. Right, and then let's see. Next up, 6 choose 5. That's 6 x squared, and 5 to the 5th. $3,125 times 6, 18,750. So this next guy is going to be 18,750 x squared. And that should be negative, because the negative 5 to the 5th is negative. All right, so that's negative, which is correct. So let's change this to a minus. All right, and now my last one is going to be 6 to the 6th. 6 choose 6 is 1. And then I have x squared to the 0, that's 1. So that's 1 and 1. And now negative 5 to the 6th, that's going to be positive. That's 15,625. And that should be plus. And that's correct as well. All right, number 9. What we solved, that when we expanded these, it followed this kind of pattern here. Whereas n in this case is 12. The r was the same as that term. So that's going to have to be 7. And then this term was the difference of the two. 12 take away 7, 5. So the coefficient part is just 12 to 7. So I'm going to just do it out longhand here. That would be 12 factorial over 7 factorial times 5 factorial. All right, now the 7 is going to cancel out all of the 12 except for 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Then I'm left, so those cancel. Now I'm left with the 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I can do some reducing here. 5 goes into 10 twice. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So in the numerator, I've got 3 times 11 times 2 times 3 times 4 all over 1, which gives me a total of 792. A5, B7. So the coefficient is 792. All right. I got x to the 4th, y to the 6th. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute in this x. So that doesn't change. That's still x to the 4th. And then I have 2y to the 6th. And I want to figure out what's the coefficient on that. All right. So where in the, if I expanded this, what would be the coefficient in front of that? Okay, so this is going to become 2 to the 6th, y to the 6th. And then this is going to be 10 choose 6. All right, so 10 choose 6. It's 10 times 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, dot, 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 down to 1, over 6 factorial, dot, 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 down to 1, times 6 minus 4, or 10 minus 6, that's 4 factorial. Now, all 6 of these are going to cancel out those 6. I need to do some more canceling. 4, 8, 2, 3 into 9, 3, 2 into 10, 5. So here I've got 5 times 3 times 2 times 7 divided by 1. All right, so that gives me 10 choose 6 is 210. And then I have x to the fourth times 2 to the sixth, which is 64, times y to the sixth. And now I'm going to multiply these two. $13,440. X to the fourth, y to the sixth. That's my coefficient.